I didn't really get a lot of support from my family members, or at least I'll just say not all of my family members were supportive. Like the closest people to you oftentimes may not be the most supportive. And if you're experiencing what I went through with family or friends not supporting you, or kind of half-assing it and half supporting you, but at the same time talking about your little brand and business behind your back, like if you've been there, then I think this will help you out too, to see what I did to find my target audience and to understand that they didn't have to be my friends and my family members. I'm able to choose who I want my target audience to be. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. There's really 3 parts to the way that I came up with my target audience. So the very first part was to dream up who that ideal customer is. And then the second part is doing the market research to actually validate that dream. One part of the market research was to validate who my ideal customer actually was, and then validating my actual products, my services, the visuals, the vibe, the words and things that I say, how I'm actually going to market myself. So that was the second step. And then finally creating the persona of who they are, actually putting a name and a face to who this ideal customer would be. I definitely skipped over a lot of this first step when I first started out. I don't really know what the expectation was, but I just assumed that when I did market research, it was going to box me into this one specific customer. I also felt like it was going to really restrict what I was actually trying to sell. My fashion business didn't work out. And that was because I was trying to sell to people like my friends and my family, and they really weren't liking the things that I was offering. And so I got a lot of pushback from the things that I was actually making and the things that I actually wanted to make. And so it caused me a lot of grief. It caused me a lot of anxiety and depression, even because I was like, I want to make this. And I was so sad about it that people, well, my friends and my family, they were talking about it in a way that just like it broke my spirit, it broke my energy, it broke my joy and my love of fashion design and sewing. It wasn't that they weren't right, and they weren't necessarily wrong either. And I wasn't right or wrong either. We just weren't aligned. In 2023, I really took a step back and I just wrote everything down. I wrote down all the ways that I actually did help people in my life. I looked at, what do people naturally call me for? Do they call me for advice? Do they call me because they want to vent? Do they call me because they want help fixing something, or they need advice on how to do something? I just wrote in a Google Doc. This family member came to me for help on how to set up an Etsy shop because they saw me making an Etsy shop and they wanted me to help them create their Etsy shop. So I helped them create their banner. I helped them make a quick logo in Canva. I even helped them to create their product that they were going to sell. At the time when I was helping somebody, it was a digital product. So helping them understand the fonts and stuff, even helping them with the pricing of that certain product, and then helping them write the descriptions for this product. Another family member wanted me to help them make a website, and I showed them how to get on GoDaddy and pick a domain and then purchase that domain, and then how to attach that to their website. So I literally just brainstormed and just wrote it how it happened. How did each of these people come to me? What do they come to me for? They vent to me. They talk to me about their problems and stuff because I'm a good listener. They know that I'm going to listen to them. I'm not going to judge them for what they have to say. I'm going to give them my best advice if they want advice, or I'm just going to listen to them if they want me or need me to listen. I took a step back and I just read everything that I wrote down. And I tried to get an understanding of who would best benefit from what it is I have to offer, my skills, my expertise, all the things that I am able to do with the skills and the knowledge that I currently have right now. Who do you actually want to work with? Let's be real. And my family knows this. They were just tired from their 9-to-5 jobs, and they truly didn't want to actually start a business, or else they just truly didn't understand what it was actually going to take to start a business. And I just truly didn't feel like their heart and soul and everything was in it. And so we would get all of these things started. But then they were like, oh, I posted my products. Why am I not getting any sales? What's happening? And so then I'm like, you can't just do that. You can't just post it one day and then not take it anywhere from there. You have to market every single day, or at least every other day. And so a lot of my family or friends, they just could not wrap their brain around that. And so after doing that so many times, I realized I'm wasting a lot of time. I could spend hours on the phone talking to them about their business, helping them set things up, only for the next week for them to be like, well, I'm not going to do this anymore, or just completely not mentioning it ever again. Their heart and soul wasn't in the entrepreneurship game in the first place. I want somebody who has maybe wanted this their entire life, or maybe they just discovered that they want it, but they're actually serious about wanting it and they're passionate about it. They're excited about it. They have their fears, their doubts and things like that. That's understandable. But at the end of the day, they genuinely want this. They enjoy what they do. They're a small business owner. They're an entrepreneur. They're just starting out. This is what they want to wake up to every single day. And they don't want to just make money in this. They want to be able to sustain what they do, what they enjoy, their business. That's who I realized who I want to work with. When I was validating who my ideal customer would actually be, I took to things like Amazon, Instagram, YouTube, even Pinterest. And I tried to really just gather as much information as I could about who my ideal customer exactly would be, the things that they actually want, the things that they need, the things that they truly desire. I like to say that, by the way, want, need, desire, versus just saying what are their problems and what do you solve, because I feel like that's very hard to wrap your brain around. It's essentially the same thing, but when I really think about it like that, no matter what type of business I create, whether it's a candle business, stickers, home decor, or even a service of some type, what are their wants, needs, desires really helps me to understand them on a deeper level versus just saying what are their problems and then how do you solve them. They're struggling to get started. They're struggling to understand how to actually do it and how to actually implement it. They desire to be at peace, enjoy their lives, have fun, and do things that genuinely make them happy. They want to take care of themselves, eventually get to the point of having sustainable brands, sustainable businesses, but they also want balance and sustainability in their personal lives, like mentally, physically, emotionally, being in a space that makes them feel good, that makes them feel whole, that makes them feel fulfilled. They want those things. And so me really recognizing that through the things that they were saying on social media and stuff, that really helped me to get an idea of products that I wanted to create and services that I want to create, because I do have two separate businesses. One is called Gallery 713, and that is my home decor brand. The second business is called the Design Studio 713, and that one will be my service-based side of things, where I'll do brand intensives where we work together on their brand and business. So I'm going to show you how I validated those things. I can turn to things like Amazon, for example, or my niche neighbors or my top competitors who also sell the same things as me. And what I normally do is look at their reviews, and that's how I come up with my research. You guys are looking at my computer screen. These are some of the things that I know that my ideal customer wants. Like self-care is what they want and need to help them create balance in their life. And one of the things that I realized that I was able or capable of making right now would be shower steamers. I typed in shower steamers into the search on Amazon. I just chose like one of the top things that I seen like on the first page, and I came up with this shower steamer. I like to look at the reviews. Now this one got quite a few reviews, quite a few people have bought this particular shower steamer, but I like to look at if my computer would work. And so I find kind of in the middle, like 3 to 4 stars, they kind of go into a little bit more detail about why they gave it that amount. So I start there, but I really look at all of this because as you can see, these are kind of like one sentence reviews here. So, but sometimes when I click on the 3, like they will give it a pretty good lengthy review. What I'm looking at though, like what exactly they're saying about the shower steamer, what they're saying about maybe the brand, the packaging, the shipping, all of those things. And this person right here said that they were not really impressed. The fragrance smelled good, but it was very light and not a very strong fragrance. As I've seen this a few times, that people are saying that it's not very fragrant or it wasn't strong enough. Or like right here, smell didn't last too long. And this person said these dissolved extremely fast, not worth the price. So that right there tells me find a way to make these dissolve a little bit slower. It could be little things like this that can give you ideas of how to make an even better product before you even get started, or how to make your product even better even after you got started. Like maybe if your product isn't selling, then you can say, well, why isn't it selling? Then you can look at like comments like these on any product that you're thinking about selling potentially, and then looking at, oh, well, people want, an even stronger fragrance, or maybe the fragrance is too strong and it gave them a headache. So now you know that you want to create, like, say, candles, for example, with less fragrance in it so it doesn't give people a headache. And then that could be your selling point. That could be what you write in your descriptions to let people know that the scent isn't so strong and it won't give them a headache. So that was how I would do product validating my ideal customers' wants, needs, desires, and things like that. Product research, all of those things. That's how I would do it if I was looking up on Amazon or even any of my niche neighbors, competitors, whatever you want to call them. Even my competitors' websites, I would be looking to see if they have reviews. And sometimes I don't see a lot of reviews on other small business owners' websites, but more than likely their social media will say it more so than their website might say it. So that's another place that I would look, which I'm going to show you now how I looked on social media to market research. The two platforms where I really realized where my ideal customer was Instagram and YouTube. So I would just go over here to the search bar and I would type in like self-care or anything that's relevant to the niche that I wanted to go into. So I typed in things like self-care because I have a self-care brand. I also typed in things like business, small business related, hashtag. I found a lot of accounts that pretty much did a lot of the things that I did too, or they talked about a lot of the things that I wanted to talk about. I looked at the type of post that they did. I looked at how often they were posting. And mainly I looked at the comments, like what were their comments saying on some of these posts. Like this might be something I would click into and then see what the comment section is saying, which can really tell me how people are responding to this type of content. And it showed me my audience really enjoys stuff like this, like small business tips and advice, and people really like those. So amazing posts, and then they're clapping, they're giving it a heart. This is how, it's easy for them to respond to things like this. So this really helped me to understand, like, maybe I could even post something similar to this. I might not do it exactly like it, but something similar to this, because you want to be able to like stand out. You don't have to post exactly what someone else is posting. But people seen this and said, thanks for the encouragement. Let's support each other. I needed that. Yes, lovely. Thank you so much. Love this advice. Needed to see this so bad. I'm going through it. Like those posts are really important to me and for my business especially. They really like a small business post like this that really encourage and inspire them to keep going and keep moving. So I would create more posts like that. So even on YouTube, I would just search things that I'm interested in talking about, like small business stuff or self-care stuff. So I would put that into the search bar here on YouTube even, and then I would look at like what type of videos are coming up, what type of video title. So like this one, how to increase business sales plus marketing strategies. It's like, what are people saying in the comments? Somebody said, I post all the time, still no sales. I got the wrong followers then, I guess, because I've done all of this and they're just watching. So this video might be relevant to what they're saying in the comment section. Some of the people from this comment section might be interested in this type of video. I'm seeing things like this person said, They literally love this creator. They love everything that they do. They love the videos. Their videos definitely help them. They're a true inspiration. So this also lets me know what this business owner is doing. They love to see what they're putting out on social media. They are inspired by this. Seeing a lot of their comments really just inspired me to do similar things, but in the way that I truly enjoy doing them. There are groups of people that can go to those creators, but there's also going to be groups of people that want me for what I have to offer. So those are the people that I focus on. The next part of this was to solidify it all and to basically create a persona of who my ideal customer was actually going to be, like putting a name to this person. I'm now in my Canva, and this is my ideal customer. I call it an ICA for short, ideal customer avatar or ideal client avatar, whatever you want to say. It's basically just a persona of who my ideal customer would be after I did all that research. I basically combined it all into this one document that briefly describes who they are, what their pain points are, what their interests are, their hobbies, what their fears are about purchasing, what their deepest desires are. When I was dreaming up who my ideal customer was, I thought about what would their name be. Stephanie popped in my head. So I gave my ideal customer the name of Stephanie. I'm genuinely thinking about, what does she need? What would Stephanie like? What kind of services does Stephanie want? What kind of products does Stephanie want? I didn't put her last name, but Stephanie Phillips. And then her age is 34 to 42. To be honest with you, I could have put between 30 to 40 years old. I would help any person, but I just put female there. And from what I can see by my analytics, it's majority female on my social media. For the location, United States, the city limits is what I'm believing that my ideal customer would be in. They have some education, like some college. I believe they're an entrepreneur, small business owner, or creative freelancer. They might also do temp jobs. I put that they would be making less than $30,000 to $40,000. I personally believe that they would be roughly maybe even at $20,000, but I put $30,000 to $40,000 per year. And then family, they might either have a husband or be living with their significant other and possibly have one kid. All of the demographic stuff is over here, like name, age, region, all of those things. And all the psychographics, like what are they experiencing internally? What are they struggling with? What are their pain points? And whoops, I actually just realized that that was my template. Here's all the psychographics. My ideal customer find it challenging to keep up with their business and everyday life. They don't have a solid, repeatable system. And even when they do, they get off track and find it hard to get back on track. And it just becomes an endless cycle. Their pain points are, they've done a bunch of things they've seen others doing, thinking that it will work out for them, and then it doesn't. They keep starting over to find something that will stick, and then they're struggling to find a sense of normalcy in their day-to-day life and in their business. Their interests are self-care, mindset, personal growth, lifestyle. They like to decorate, they're crafters, they like to journal. Their deepest desires is to sustain themselves mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. They want a holistic approach to business and self-care practices. Eventually, they want to obtain generational wealth, but not at the expense of their health and their well-being. They are more willing to invest in themselves and things that will actually help them to achieve their dreams and their goals. They're invested in their business and their self-care, their mental and emotional health. This isn't just a financial investment, it's a time and energy investment to do more of what makes them happy and also gets them towards their dreams and their goals. They just want to make sure that this is worth the time, the effort, the energy. They're not just going to put their money into any old thing. They want to really make sure that it's worth it. So that's the objection that I have for my ideal customer. I used to really worry about, what products am I going to make? Are people going to actually like it? Are they going to hate it? And I'm not saying that that's not a fear still. I think at the end of the day, that's always going to be an underlying fear for me and for a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners out there. But at the end of the day, I don't dwell on that. Of course, sometimes you can't always find all the information that you're looking for. Sometimes it is based off trial and error, but I'm going to get as much as I can and then create the product, create the service, create the content from there. This is the way that I found my people, the people that genuinely want, need, and desire what I have to offer, who are genuinely here for me, who genuinely want to sit and binge watch my content, who actually comment on my stuff, who tell me to keep going. I'm creating it for them. Even though it is my brand and my business, it's a balance between what I enjoy doing and what I enjoy creating and what my audience wants to see, what they want, what they need, what they desire. And so that's how I create balance within my brand and my business. And that's how I basically found my people. Hopefully this gave you some insight into how to do it. I thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video, and I'll talk to you soon.